Welcome back to this new inspirational video. Today I wanted to talk about what the importance plays in our lives when we talk about the feeling and nature of our own reality. Because the feeling and nature determines the way you will ultimately act in your world. So if you're gonna feel bad all the time, you're unable to act properly in order to create something good for yourself. But if you feel great most of the time, you'll be able to expand your life in a direction that is most pleasing and meaningful to you. Now, Neville Goddard would always talk about feeling being the secret, and it's very, very important that we catch the mood of fulfilled desires so that we can be compelled and inspired to do whatever needs to be done in order to manifest a dream. However, as of late, a few days ago, during the middle of the night, I was compelled to write the following that I wanted to share with you because it's so important. It actually opened up my mind to an even greater awareness and expansion in consciousness that will help me, and it can help you if you apply and use what I'm about to share with you. So what I said was, I can have books of Neville or any other great author, even the Bible, or other marvelous revelations of God physically with me, but not until something changes inside me personally will they take on power in my life. And this power is directed through control of my own emotions. It is by controlling how I actually feel about what I've learned that I can inject power into the wisdom I've mentally acquired about the mysteries of my own existence. And so it is for you. Now, I have had the experience with controlling my feelings. If I do it right now and here, I notice I'm able to experience total bliss and happiness at will. It's bizarre, since then suddenly there's no suffering of any kind. But I also know in the past I moved away from it, from this activity, this behavior, this approach in life. For it felt so surreal that it's almost like we want to be dependent upon physical things to feel good, for the most part. But I now have evidence and confirmation that I don't have to do it any longer. Yes, great is that comfort enlightenment brings when we know ourselves and the true power of consciousness from the spiritual self that resides within us. The spiritual self that resides within you knows no limits. It knows no suffering. That's the beauty of it all. So why are we suffering? Why? Why am I suffering? Why are you suffering at times? Why is the great mass of people suffering, generally speaking? Well, it's because of what I just shared with you earlier through what I wrote down. I actually said there, you see, we can discover we can control our emotions, but more often than not, at first it feels so surreal to be doing it that you realize it's like we're rather be dependent upon physical things in order to make us happy. Now, physical things is a broad term because we're not necessarily talking only about objects that we can have, things that we can do in order to lift our mood. There's many things you could be doing that might be detrimental to your well-being at the very end. Drug abuse, detrimental to your well-being. We have to stop doing it, and if you keep relapsing, well, get back on track. That's what I do. That's what everybody should be doing. It's okay. Listen to music, a good thing. You can listen to tracks, lift your moods, but these are all physical things. A relationship is a physical thing. So many people make themselves dependent upon the person that they're with to make them happy. It's ridiculous, because this is all part of the physical world. It's outside of yourself. You want to go inside and take control of your own emotional state at will. Because if you do, you'll discover that life will start to look way better than it ever did before. Because then you realize that all you ever need is to exercise the control of your own mind and feeling nature so that you can live a good life in spite of everything that happens around you. Is that too good to be true? No, it isn't. This is your birthright. This is what you can do. Now, where do you start? You see, we always want to ask ourselves, where do we start in order to develop such a power for ourselves? Well, it isn't really that difficult if we think about it. First of all, if you catch yourself feeling good right now, or if you don't, hopefully you'll feel good soon enough, but at some times we will feel some sort of relief, whether it's before we fall asleep or whether we're involved in a certain activity that we enjoy. Once you feel good, what I want you to do is train yourself to hold on to that emotional state to the best of your ability. Just keep that mood alive. And as you keep practicing this, as you keep practicing feeling good at will, and then you'll become stronger at doing it in general. And once you're strong enough to do it in general, you'll be able to do it at command, whenever you please. Now for me, what happens is I can feel bad sometimes, like anybody else. But then I would sit down, and I close my eyes, and I simply contemplate the spirit of life, the oneness of the universe. That's the idea. That's what you want to experiment with. If you have difficulty finding good moods right now because you feel so bad or depressed or whatever, start contemplating the spirit of life. Start to just drop your problems from your mind and simply concentrate on this one fact, that all of life is one. All of creation is one. You are connected to the whole universe. You can't see it physically speaking necessarily, but you can connect yourself from the spiritual inner self with this source of power, love, peace, and happiness. You see, the universe can bring it to you if you reach out to it. That's very important to understand, you see. You don't want to wait for stuff to happen before you become happy. You want to reach out your spiritual hands and touch the spirit of life, which they would call God. And then you'll be happy, then you'll feel relief. So what happens for me is when I close my eyes and I contemplate God, I literally do that. For people that might be a difficult thing to consider. They might think, well, what is God? Well, God is not a person, God is not a gender, God is the spirit of life. God is life itself, God is love. God is wisdom. So whatever element of God nature you want to use, you can start contemplating that within your own mind. So in this case, I would close my eyes, I contemplate God. And as I do so, I automatically know God is oneness, spirit of life. It is the creative principle of the universe. So if I feel bad, if I have an obstacle that I need to overcome, I go to God. I go towards God and I allow myself to find the solution to my problem. It lifts up my spirits from within. It changes my feelings. It changes my emotional state. And as I do so, I feel power rise up within me. I can make it happen. I can achieve whatsoever I want. I am not dependent on anyone to be happy in my life. Are you? Don't be. Let go of that absurd attitude of life, because this is why you will feel stuck, and most likely you will stay stuck in the same repetitive patterns over and over and over again. Learn from your mistakes and move on. So, feeling is the secret, because if you have a great book, if you listen to videos that inspire you, and you know it can help you, if you don't inject the necessary enthusiasm into what you're learning, then you're incapable of acting on it effectively for yourself. But if you can truly feel like this helps you out, this book helped me out. Like I read books all the time about the mind, and I know this helps me out, and I get excited, I get enthusiastic about what I'm reading. I get emotionally involved in what I'm doing. And as I'm doing it, the messages that I'll be reading and learning about take on way deeper meaning for me. And that causes it to be supplanted into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the feeling nature of consciousness. The conscious mind is the part through which you can decide, think, and imagine. Always remember this. So this is why feeling is so important. It's the secret of creation. Because if we don't involve our subconscious mind in the right way, we'll never be compelled to act on our dreams. And it's sad. Most people really are dependent on physical things in order to feel happy. And then of course, if physical things aren't looking good for them right now, they'll be stuck forever as long as they have that attitude. Get away from that. You are part of God. You're sons and daughters of the Most High. Nevertheless, you shall die as a human being. O princess. It's beautiful if you think about it, because that's exactly what our destiny holds. As I've said in a video before, your consciousness is like a drop from a bigger ocean. That ocean being the spirit of life. And your consciousness is an individual expression of that spirit of life. And you know the beauty of it all is that your individuality is what you're going to take beyond the physical grave. And as you become familiar with it, as you learn to control your own individual nature, then you'll start to be in control of your own reality, and you'll be able to make wonderful things happen. But we want to understand that we need to connect what we know with what we feel. So if you're learning about great things that can help you out, be sure that you're emotionally charged by those ideas. You want to let the emotions take over. You want to let the emotion of joy, well-being, love, happiness, peace of mind guide your conscious mind, and not try to force yourself to feel good. You see, the forcing, trying to feel good, is why people end up in such bad situations. Drug addiction is involved, but also relationships, business, opportunities. We rush into things. We want to rush things all the time because we're scared, we're insecure, we're desperate for something good to happen. But the problem is, this outside world is a reflection of the inner world. So if you want happiness, peace of mind, well-being, joy, success in that outside world, you're going to have to embrace it from within. And the best way to embrace it from within is by first using the imagination to be clear on where you want to go, and then unleash the feelings of joy from the depths of your being by simply contemplating your oneness with your dream that you already have. It might not be here physically, you might feel alone and lonely, you might be confused on where to go with your life, but your imagination is there to guide you towards fulfillment of your desires. So you really have to take this serious. That feeling is the secret, because once you're emotionally charged strongly enough with an idea, with a vision that you want to realize, well, then all sorts of stuff is going to happen that you may not be aware of right now. You will feel yourself being magnetized to certain actions, physically speaking. That's what happens with me all the time. You see, sometimes people say it's not enough to just imagine and feel great about your dream, but they don't understand perhaps that the feeling is what's going to compel the body to do what it does. So be sure you feel great and be true to that feeling. Start to measure your own activities in life and your behavior. Am I living up to my own imagination? Am I living up to my own feelings of love and well-being? And as you practice this, you're going to discover that you become more and more compelled to act in better and better ways. If you're true to yourself, that's what's going to happen. And you're going to live a phenomenal life. And if you screw it up, well, you can get back on track. I screw it up all the time, to be honest. It doesn't really matter. I get back on track as well. So what I've learned for myself at this point is that if I'm going to feel great right here and now, I better start to treat myself and everyone around me with greatness. And that's what I'm starting to do in private and through YouTube, to these videos. I'm going to treat myself and everyone with total greatness, because I can feel the greatness rise up from within, from the immortal self, showing me the way to salvation. And I'm here to share it with you. And it might be a difficult message for you at times to grasp, but ultimately the main point for you to always burn into your mind is that you already have everything you'll ever going to need to make your life absolutely incredible. Because the only thing you'll ever need is your own awareness of being. And you were an expression of the universe. You're an individual expression of life at this point. And now it's time to work together with that spirit of life. And the spirit of life, the spirit of God, moves upon the face of the waters. And then it starts to create. It is moving through the act of the emotional states of mankind. That energy starts to move. This is all symbolic. Imagine a wave forming in the water. Well, if you magnify your emotional states, if you feel yourself right into the situation of your wish fulfilled, it causes a ripple effect in the water of universal consciousness. And as that happens, these waves, symbolic again, start to alter time-space reality, and all sorts of activities and things start to happen, helping you to grow towards whatsoever you desire. Yes, even beyond the grave. I don't care if you don't believe me on this point, but it's true. If you're lucid dreaming, you know that I'm talking about the truth. Because the only way to control a so-called dream is by feeling that you are in control over there. That is the secret to awaken in different dimensions of the universe. And one day I'll be talking about that, but for now, I want you to really burn it into your mind that control of your emotional self is the greatest achievement you can reach throughout your life. Because if you can truly control your emotional self, you'll be able to control circumstances and the direction in which you will grow in life. If you're out of control, if you don't control it, we all have proof of times in our lives, well then things get chaotic and crazy. Let's get away from that and let's become those sons and daughters of the Most High by controlling the greatest power given to us, called consciousness. Now, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.